Okay, I'm gonna go up to this, down this little lane, and hopefully I can get a pretty good shot. There's a famous picture that Barbara Minty took of Steve outside of his hangar, and I wanted to say that he got married here, like I said, 37 years to the day tomorrow. And Barbara said that every Saturday night they'd go into the hangar, I'll show you fans, and they'd watch Fantasy Island and The Love Boat. He was a big fan of those two shows. So let's go down this little lane.
We'll do the things together we did so long ago. We'll play the banjo gaily, she'll love me like before, and the yellow rose of Texas shall be mine forevermore. She's the sweetest little rosebud that Texas has.
Okay, there's also another photo, and there it looks like the hangar. There's another hangar to the right of the house there, behind it. But like I said, I don't know if that's the hangar where she took the famous photo where he's sitting looking like he's apparently reading a script, studying a script, and he's got one of those little Mexican wood stoves, terracotta. Okay, here it is. It's still the same color. And like I said, I don't know if she divided the land, if there was part of it, or the 15 acres that he owned. And thankfully, like I said, it's still extant. It's beautiful. And thankfully nobody's here. And here you go, you fans all over the world, where the great king of cool himself spent the happiest days of his life. Like Cody Jarrett said in White Heat, look ma, top of the world. And then what happens, just like in the movie, the big explosion. And this is where he married Barbara, 37 years to the day tomorrow. What are the odds? I can't believe it. So we're in Santa Paula, California. He loved this place. Okay, that must be the hangar. And I thought it was in the back here. But that must be where she took the famous photo. Steve was very private, but he allowed Barbara to take all those fantastic classic photos of him the last year. And so I'm pretty sure where he's sitting and he's contemplating and studying that, apparently like he was studying a script, that's where he was probably sitting, right there. Although I saw a garage door, so there must be a garage on that side. But he built that 4,200 square feet hangar. That's where he'd spend Saturday nights. And then she said that after they go into town and have Chinese food or Mexican food, and he loved that Mexican beer, and he learned to he said that, I don't know if somebody told him a myth about his dad, that he was a barnstormer. And so when he was here and he'd see these planes fly out, he said, well, I'm gonna get my license. He started taking lessons from this guy, that some old fellow that he became good friends with, and he taught him how to fly. And it was, like I said, it was a 1945 biplane Stearman, and he flew out of there at that airport where I started this with this little vignette. Okay, well, let me add here before I go, Steve, your energy, those fantastic films you left us, God bless you, and I hope you're in a better place. And you were very happy here. And Barbara and Niley and Ellie, thank you for giving this man happiness with his time, his short span of time on this planet. And like they said, he had a woman for every era of his life. When he had change, when he needed a certain woman for the type of change he was going through. And I still kept in contact. He was friends with his 2 ex-wives. And so, okay, Steve, God bless you, man. Okay, he married Niley in 1956, and her manager got him a job, got him casted, if you will, in Wanted Dead or Alive, which was on for 3 seasons. And when he started making money, he was actually making $750 per episode. And he finally found his father in Long Beach, who had just died, I think about 2 months before. And his wife gave him a lighter that his dad owned, William Terrence. And he said that the wife said that he'd watch that Wanted Dead or Alive, and he'd say, gee, I wonder if that's my boy. So he got to see his son before he died. And Steve sadly never got closure. He always wanted to know, why'd you leave me and my mother? And he just missed them. And then another odd factoid, when he was living in, when he was a kid during the war, his dad lived a couple of blocks away in Echo Park. I mean, talk about weird phenomenon. His dad was right there. He was always pining and looking for his dad, wondering when his dad was going to walk in the door, and he never did. And then suffering with all those beatings by that monster Hal Berry. And think about 2 months before his he found him, but he died 2 months before, barely missing him, like 2 ships on a dark night in the middle of the ocean. Okay, and then he, as you all know, all you fans, that rifle that he carried, that 4440 sawed-down Winchester, model 1892, which is kind of odd because his house that he lived in was built in 1892. It was designed by the car designer Von Dutch, who incidentally built the Winton Flyer for the Reavers. I think that was 1968. Fantastic film. Okay, they said that the people would leave him alone. He was able to walk down the main street, and they kept him his living here a secret. They didn't go telling everybody where he lived. And this is where he was holed up in his halcyon days. But at least he found peace and the financial ability. And I just want to say, we would have lost Steve August 9th, 1969, because J.C. Bring, his best friend, invited him over to Cielo Drive, which is kind of weird because that means Heaven's Drive in Spanish. And for whatever reason, the girl he was with said, nah, let's just go out and have a meal at a local restaurant. We don't need to go up there to Cielo Drive. And lo and behold, if he would have ended up there, he would have gotten stabbed to death in that horrific situation. And well, at least he lived 11 more years. He escaped that, but obviously he didn't escape the Grim Reaper 11 years later. In fact, he took him and J.C. Bring And Roman Polanski, the wife of Sharon Tate, they took lessons from Bruce Lee. In fact, Bruce Lee was on the Reaver set, I think in Alabama, where they filmed it. And he was there for the whole time. Bruce Lee was training Steve, helping him to keep fit. And as you can see, this is old Santa Paula. It's a little town, like I said, 65 miles northwest of Los Angeles. And at least he found a little peace. In fact, getting back to Jay Sebring, while he was cutting Steve's hair at his house, the castle in Brentwood, Jay and Niley are the two people that told him to take the bullet role for Bullet. He didn't want to take it. He didn't feel it was a good fit, but they talked him into it. He trusted Jay, and of course that changed film history. The greatest car chase in filmdom, in a lot of people's opinions. And another factoid, Jay Sebring, he lived in Jean Harlow's house, the house that she lived in with Paul Byrne, the producer, the MGM producer. And he actually he dropped acid, maybe Van Doren said, and they made love in the room where Paul Byrne committed suicide. And I thought maybe you fans would like to know that little factoid. And Mamie Van Doren said in her memoirs, she said that she saw Paul Byrne laughing at her and Steve. Of course, they said that Steve had the strongest, most potent, cleanest LSD called Sandoz, and they were freaking out, but because it was so pure, Steve told her that they wouldn't have like a freak out. But she said that she saw Paul Byrne laughing, and she said that I didn't commit suicide. He said to her, somebody killed me. So that's just a little factoid. And now I'm going to take you fans all over the world. I'm going to take you to I'm going to take you to Jay Sebring's hairstyling salon on Melrose and Fairfax. Now here's the little street that Steve said people would respect his privacy, and he loved the people here. And it's pretty much now, it's a Mexican immigrant community. A lot of, like I said, citrus fields, a lot of crops grown here. And here's the old street. In fact, they have an old cinema that I wouldn't doubt that Steve and Barbara would go see films right here at the tower, and then take a look at this, take a gander at this teen era. Probably more like 1890s. That right there, that's more like the teen era, like 1911. And this is why he loved it. So you people, you residents, you denizens of Slater, Missouri, this is why he moved here. He said it reminded him of his hometown, where Uncle Clyde gave him comfort, rest, domicile, safety, and gave him a home. Him and his grandfather and grandmother, Crawford. So here you go. So this is a great way to end this. I fear it's a little bit too long, but I know you fans would appreciate it, especially you hardcore fans all over the world that can't come, but at least you can vicariously see where the great king of coal himself would come and go to a lot of these thrift stores at the time. He's collecting a lot of antiques. In fact, that shed or that hangar that's where he kept all his antique motorcycles and antique cars. So I'm glad I remembered that. God damn it, it ended. Okay, thank you, and please subscribe to my channel. And Steve, wherever you're at, good night, sweet prince.